Dark smoke filled the purple skies of planet Zarnok. Screams echoed through the metallic cities as tall alien towers crumbled. The Zarnokians, once proud and powerful, were running. Their skin was blue, their eyes glowed red, and their armor was built from rare metals. But none of it helped now. The undead had arrived. Not the slow-moving kind from old human stories. These zombies were fast. They could climb walls, break into bunkers, and tear through shields. They didn't eat. They infected. One bite, one scratch, and even the strongest warrior turned into a monster in seconds. General Threx stood on a platform above the burning capital, watching his people fall. He gripped the rail tightly. His planet's defense system had failed. Plasma weapons, biogas bombs, and laser grids. Nothing stopped the infection. It spread too fast. His own brother had turned. The council was dead. The scientists were gone. There was no more hope. "Evacuate the young," he ordered coldly. "We fall today." Just then, a communication tech shouted from below. "Sir, we caught a signal. It's from Sector 3 of the old Earth archives." Threx turned slowly. "Earth? That primitive rock? We erased it from our charts centuries ago." "It's alive," the tech said, his voice shaking. "The signal. It's human. They're calling for someone. For help. For us." Threx stared at the screen. Static flickered, then a voice broke through. A human voice. Calm, confident. "To any species out there. If you're dealing with the undead, we can help. We've survived worse, but we don't work for free." Then the signal cut. The room fell silent. Aliens who thought humans were extinct now saw proof that they were not only alive but fighting the same enemy, and surviving. "They're bluffing," one officer said. "Maybe," Threx whispered. "But we're dying. And they're not." The Zarnokians had once laughed at Earth, called it dirty, savage, and backward. They believed humans wiped themselves out long ago. Now, in the darkest hour of their empire, the only light came from a forgotten world. Threx stood tall. "Prepare, a scout ship. We're going to Earth." The scout ship sliced through hyperspace carrying 5 elite soldiers. They were silent, nervous. Every race in the galaxy believed humans were reckless and emotional, unpredictable, dangerous. But maybe that's what was needed now. When the ship dropped out near Earth, the crew expected a dead planet. What they saw shocked them. Earth was alive. Not perfect. Cities were half ruined, skies gray. But lights glowed, machines worked, and towers stood. Even more shocking, they saw human patrols fighting zombies in the open and winning. Aliens landed on the surface near a human outpost. Guns turned toward them instantly. Humans in black armor aimed plasma rifles. The leader stepped forward. A woman, scars across her face, one eye missing, but her voice was calm. "You're not infected," she said. "That's rare these days." "Alien, huh?" Threx's officer stepped forward. "We come in peace, our world, it's falling. We received your signal." She didn't smile. "You came because you're dying, not because you like us. That's fine, but don't think we'll save you out of kindness." "What do you want?" the officer asked. "Respect," she said, "and trust, but first, show us you're worth saving." Suddenly, a zombie horde appeared from behind the buildings, screaming and rushing forward. The humans didn't panic. They moved fast, clean, shots to the head, explosives at the choke points. Not a single soldier fell. The aliens watched in silence. Their own elite troops had died in seconds on Zarnok, but these humans fought like they were born in hell and made it their home. After the battle, the woman looked back at them. "That was a small one. You're lucky. Some of them talk now. Some can fly." The aliens didn't know how to answer. Back on the ship, the crew sent everything they saw to Zarnok. Threx watched the footage and clenched his jaw. Humans had built something terrible and beautiful. They had turned survival into an art. And for the first time in weeks, he felt a small flicker of hope. But deep down, he also felt fear. What kind of species survives a zombie apocalypse and then offers help like it's a business deal? Humans were still a mystery, but now, they were the only hope. The alien scout team followed the human soldiers into the heart of the outpost. Their eyes scanned everything, the broken walls patched with steel plates, the guards with strange-looking weapons, and strange green flames burning near the gates. The place was dirty, loud, and looked half dead, but it was alive. That alone made it better than anything left on Zarnok. Threx's officer, Commander Vale, stayed close to the human leader. Her name was Sergeant Kara Mace. She didn't smile. She didn't talk much either, but she noticed everything. Her good eye missed nothing. The way she moved through her base, the way soldiers gave her space, it was clear she had earned respect the hard way. "You've seen the footage," Kara said, turning to Vale. "That was a light wave. You haven't seen what real swarms look like, and you're not ready." "We are warriors," Vale replied. "No," she said. "You were warriors. But the zombies changed the game. They're not mindless anymore. Something's changing them. They're learning, copying, adapting. You haven't survived it yet. We have." Her voice was hard like iron. Vale didn't argue. Back on Zarnok, the last cities were falling. Threx watched live feeds showing zombie waves crashing through defenses. The infected no longer ran blindly. They moved in groups, circled defenses, even pretended to be dead until soldiers came close. It was terrifying. "Status on the humans?" Threx asked. "Still alive," came the reply. "They're training us." Threx raised a brow. "Training?" On Earth, Kara had taken the alien soldiers to a combat pit outside the walls. Burnt wreckage lay everywhere, bones, torn armor, melted weapons. She tossed Vale a strange weapon, heavy, black, and humming with energy. "Modified plasma cannon," she said. "Short range, loud as hell. But it cooks the infected inside. Out. You get one shot before it overheats, make it count." The other aliens were given human gear too. Scavenged armor, strange goggles, grenades that pulsed red. "We learned one thing early," Kara said. "Forget your fancy tech. Zombies. Love shiny targets. You need dirty, messy, and loud, and never fight alone." Then she opened the gate. A zombie wandered in. Slow, broken, and foaming. It wasn't much. Vale aimed and fired. The shot hit, and the zombie dropped, sizzling. The weapon melted in his hands. "Too slow," Kara said. "And now your weapon's dead. Try again." This time she released 2 zombies. The training was brutal. The aliens failed again and again. They weren't used to close combat. Their armor slowed them down. Their weapons were too clean. But day by day, they started changing. They watched how humans moved, how they communicated with simple hand signs, how they always watched each other's backs, how they laughed in between missions, laughed like death didn't scare them. Vale began to understand. Humans weren't winning because they were stronger. They were winning because they refused to give up. Even when it hurt, even when they lost friends, they came back, again and again. One night after training, Kara stood on the wall watching the dark horizon. Vale walked up beside her. The sky above was filled with stars. Silent. Peaceful. "A lie. You said they're learning," Vale said quietly. "How? They were dead." "They still are," Kara answered. "But something's in them. Something old. Something watching. We've seen zombies. Speak." Vale frowned. "That's not possible." "That's what we thought," she said. "Until one of them said my name." Vale froze. Kara turned. Her face, rough and scarred, looked tired now. "I lost a squad last year. All dead. I buried them myself. But last week, one of them walked up to the gate. Same eyes. Same voice. He begged me to let him in." "And you did?" Vale asked. "No," she whispered. "Because he smiled at me. My friend never smiled like that." The silence between them was heavy. Then alarms rang out. Zombies were coming. But this time they weren't charging. They walked slowly in formation as if waiting. Kara called her people to the wall. Guns aimed. Lights turned on. Even the aliens took their positions. And then, something strange happened. A tall zombie stepped forward. It didn't growl. It didn't run, it just raised its hand and pointed at Vale. Everyone stared. "That's not random," Kara said. Vale felt cold inside. "They know me." Kara nodded. "Then they've been watching your planet longer than you thought." Suddenly, the zombie horde screamed and rushed forward. The battle began. It was loud, dirty, blood and fire everywhere. Humans fought like demons. The aliens, now better trained, stood their ground. They used human weapons, human tactics. They worked in pairs. They moved like shadows. And for the first time, they didn't break. When the last zombie dropped, Kara walked over to Vale. His armor was cracked, blood on his face. But he was alive. "You've got a lot to learn," she said. "But you're starting to get it." Vale looked at the burning battlefield, the price of survival. "I understand now," he said. "You didn't just fight the zombies. You became something stronger." Kara gave a small nod. "We had to. If you want to win, you'll have to do the same." Far above them, in the quiet of space, something watched Earth. It saw the aliens learning, it saw humans teaching, and it didn't like it. Because unity was dangerous. And the war was only beginning. Smoke still rose from the battlefield as the fires burned through the remains of the undead. The air smelled like ash, blood, and burned flesh. Alien soldiers sat quietly on the ground, their glowing eyes dim, armor cracked and stained. Vale stood in the center, staring at the dead zombie that had pointed at him. Its hand was still raised, finger stretched toward where he had stood before the attack. "They knew my name," Vale whispered. Kara stood beside him, not saying anything. She didn't need to. She had seen too much to be surprised anymore. But this wasn't normal. This was something worse. "They're watching us," Vale said. "Not just attacking, not just hunting, watching, waiting." Kara looked out into the dark. "They're testing us, like we're part of some bigger plan. A game." That night, the human base went into lockdown. Guards doubled. Drones flew overhead all night. But nothing came. Just silence. That silence stretched for days. No zombies attacked. No strange signals. No movement. It was too quiet, and that made it worse. "This isn't normal," Kara said during the third night. "They never stop this long unless they're planning something big." She was right. On the fourth day, one of the human scouts returned. His face was pale. His armor dented and torn. He couldn't speak at first. He just stared ahead, breathing fast. "Tell me," Kara ordered. "What did you see?" The man swallowed hard. "A city," he whispered. "But not ruins. It was built, machines moving, lights on. It was full of them, thousands, not wild, organized. Everyone in the room froze." "They're building?" Vale asked. The scout nodded. "And they're not alone. I saw something else, something bigger, metal towers, spires in the sky. It looked ancient, not theirs." Kara looked at Vale. "What if they found something, some tech, something that's changing them? Or something that's guiding them?" Vale added. The council was called. Human leaders, alien officers, old war veterans. They all met in a dark room filled with flickering screens. Maps glowed on the walls. Drones fed live data from the region the scout had described. But what they saw made their blood run cold. The city wasn't just real. It was growing. Fast. Buildings were going up at impossible speed. Zombies worked. Together, some even using tools. Massive machines carved the ground. And at the center of it all stood a tower. Tall, black, and pulsing with strange energy. "That tower," one of the human scientists said. "It's not made by them. That material, it's not zombie tech." "Then who built it?" Kara asked. "We don't know. But the energy signature, it matches a signal we picked up Years ago, far beyond our system. We lost contact with the team that found it. The room fell into silence. We thought it was just some alien ruin, dead tech. But if the zombies found it, they're not zombies anymore, Kara said. They're something else now. A decision was made. A joint team, half human, half alien, would go to the city. A recon mission. Not to fight, just to see. But deep down, everyone knew it wouldn't be that simple. Kara led the human side. Vale led the aliens. The two had grown to trust each other, slowly, carefully, but trust nonetheless. They flew out in a silent ship low to the ground. Clouds passed over dead forests and broken lands. Once beautiful cities now lay in ruins, bones crushed beneath collapsed towers. But as they neared the new city, everything changed. The land was clean, organized. Machines moved like ants, cutting paths and laying metal. It didn't look like a zombie wasteland. It looked like the beginning of a new empire. "This isn't survival," Kara whispered. "This is conquest." The ship landed half a mile from the city's edge. The team moved out in silence. Sensors were jammed. Cameras glitched. Something was interfering with their tech. "We're being watched," Vale said. "I can feel it." They crept through the shadows, moving past half-finished walls and broken scaffolding. No guards, no wild zombies. Just quiet. Then they saw it. A group of infected, 50 or more, standing in a circle around a floating orb. The orb pulsed, with purple light, and every zombie stood completely still, eyes glowing faintly. Suddenly, one of the zombies turned its head, slowly, deliberately, and looked straight at Kara. She froze. The thing smiled. Not a wild snarl. A real smile. Then it said, in a calm voice that sounded completely human, "Welcome back." Kara's blood turned to ice. That voice. It was her brother's. He had died 3 years ago, torn apart during an escape mission. She had buried him herself. "This isn't possible," she said. But the zombie stepped forward, hands raised. "We have evolved," it said. "We were chaos. Now we are purpose, thanks to the source." The team raised their weapons, but Kara stopped them. "What is the source?" she asked. The thing pointed to the tower. "It speaks, it teaches, it showed us what we were, and what we can become." "And what is that?" Vale demanded. The zombie looked at him. "Better than you." Then it screamed, and the city woke up. Alarms blared, lights flashed, the ground shook. Thousands of zombies turned and marched toward them, weapons in their hands. Not old clubs or torn pipes. Real weapons, blades, guns, tech. Kara shouted, "Run!" The team sprinted back toward the ship, bullets and lasers flying past them. Vale helped one of his wounded soldiers. Kara dragged a human who had fallen. They made it, barely. The ship lifted into the sky, shaking from the damage. Kara looked back. The zombie that spoke with her brother's voice was still watching, still smiling. "We're not fighting a virus anymore," she said. "We're fighting intelligence." Vale nodded slowly. "And it knows us better than we know ourselves." The ship flew fast over the burned lands, engines roaring louder than thunder. Inside, no one spoke. Everyone was thinking about what they saw. Zombies working like machines, building cities, and talking with voices from the past. Kara sat near the window, staring out, heart racing. Her brother's voice still echoed in her mind. That thing had smiled at her. It knew her. It remembered her. But it was not her brother. Vale stood beside the pilot, watching the screen as the city grew smaller behind them. "They have structure now," he said quietly, "and something is guiding them. This source." Kara looked at him. "It used my brother's voice. It remembered details only he and I knew. It's not just copying, it's learning us, studying us." The council back at base was already waiting when the team returned. As soon as they stepped off the ship, alarms were raised. They were taken to decontamination. Scientists scanned them for infection. "We're clean," Kara said. The danger isn't inside us. It's out there, and it's growing smarter by the hour. Inside the war chamber, they shared everything. The orb, the voice, the tower, the machines. Everyone looked disturbed. Some of the alien officers refused to believe it. They're just mutated bodies, one shouted. Mindless flesh. Vel slammed his fist on the table. No, they were mindless before, but now they're thinking. Planning. You saw the footage. Kara turned to the screen and played the video of the zombie speaking. The voice was clear, the face calm, the eyes glowing softly. The room went dead silent. A human general whispered, "This isn't an infection anymore. It's a civilization." The question now was, do they attack or wait? Some wanted to bomb the city before it grew stronger. Others feared that would only trigger something worse. Kara argued, "We need to know more. If this source is technology, maybe we can understand it, maybe even shut it down." Vale agreed. "But we can't go alone this time. We need a larger team, and we need someone who understands strange tech." That's when Dr. Ellen arrived. She was old, quiet, and had spent her life studying forgotten alien technology. She'd worked on old ruins where strange signals had been found years ago, signals that now matched the energy of the tower. "This isn't the first time we've seen this," she said. Long ago, a species known only as the architects created machines that could rewrite organic minds. They built things that could copy memories, shape flesh. They vanished, but some of their devices remain. Kara leaned forward. "You think the source is one of their devices?" "I'm certain of it," Ellen replied. "And it's been reactivated." The plan was made. A larger team, now called Operation Eclipse, would go back, but not to attack, to infiltrate. A stealth ship with cloaking would fly in close, land quietly, and try to reach the tower's base. Kara and Vale would lead again. Ellen would join them, bringing devices to scan and possibly shut down the source. The night before the mission, Kara sat alone, watching an old recording of her brother. He was laughing, holding a guitar, playing, badly. She smiled, tears in her eyes. "Whatever you've become," she whispered, "I'll end it. For both of us." The next morning, the ship lifted off in silence. It flew low, invisible to radar, cutting through dark skies. The team was silent, focused. As they neared the zombie city again, a thick fog covered the land. The city looked different now, bigger, sharper. Towers stretched higher. Roads had lights. Strange flying drones buzzed through the air. "This isn't a city anymore," Ellen whispered. "It's becoming a hive." The ship landed a mile from the tower, hidden behind a broken ridge. The team moved through the ruins carefully, scanners on. They saw patrols, groups of zombies in armor, some using weapons. None of them looked wild anymore. They were soldiers. One of the human soldiers whispered, "This looks like our bases, our strategy. They copied us." Vale answered, "No, they've improved it." Finally, they reached the base of the tower. The air buzzed with energy. The metal walls pulsed, like they were alive. Ellen placed a device on the ground. "Give me a moment," she said. "This should let us read the energy patterns." Suddenly, a voice echoed through the air. It came from nowhere, and everywhere. "You returned." It was Kara's brother's voice again, calm, empty. "You cannot stop what has begun." Kara raised her weapon. "I don't want to talk to a shadow. Show yourself." From the shadows, a figure stepped out. It was him, her brother's body, his face, but his eyes were bright white, and his skin shimmered like metal. "We are not your brother," he said, "but he is part of us now. We are all one, a collective, a future." Ellen gasped. "It's begun mind merging. Every person it takes adds to its knowledge." "You're stealing souls," Kara said. "We're freeing them," the thing replied. "No pain, no fear, no war, just unity." Vale stepped forward. "Then why build weapons? Why train an army?" The figure smiled. Because you will never join us willingly, so we must prepare. Alarms blared. The sky turned red. Drones flew toward them. Kara shouted, "Now!" Ellen activated the device. A loud hum filled the air. The figure screamed, grabbing its head. "No!" The tower shook. Light flickered. For a moment, the energy pulse stopped. Everything froze. Then, silence. Ellen's device smoked. "We cut it off, for now, but it will reboot." Kara grabbed Vale. "We need to run. We've seen enough. We can fight now." The team ran back through the ruins, chased by drones and zombie soldiers. The ship lifted into the sky just as explosions rocked the ground behind them. From above, they saw the city go dark only for a moment. Then, one by one, the towers lit up again. "It's adapting," Ellen whispered. "Next time, it won't be that easy." Kara stared at the glowing tower in the distance. "Then we hit it harder, before it finishes whatever it's becoming." The skies above the base turned gray as storm clouds rolled in, but the storm inside the war room was worse. Everyone was shouting. Some wanted a full attack with nuclear weapons. Others warned that doing so might trigger something worse. Kara sat silently, her face pale, watching the recording of her brother's glowing eyes again. "He knew me," she whispered to herself. "Not just the memory. The emotion, too." Dr. Ellen walked in slowly, holding a small black cube. "I brought this from the last mission, a data shard from the source. It was inside the tower's walls." She placed it on the table. "It contains signals, millions of them. Thoughts, voices, lives." A silence fell. Then she added, "It's learning at a speed we can't match. In 3 days, it rebuilt an entire city. In 1 week, it could take a planet." Vale leaned over the table. "So we hit it now. Before that happens, we use everything." But Kara shook her head. "No, if we do that, we might kill the people still trapped inside it. Their minds are still alive. It's not just monsters, it's prisoners." One of the generals snapped, "They're gone, look at them, they're weapons now." Kara stood up. "Then let's treat this like a rescue, not a purge." That idea caused an uproar, but it also opened a door. A plan was made, not to destroy the source, but to disconnect it. From within, a special device would be built to reach its heart and burn its control core, but without damaging the minds it holds. Only a human could do it. Only someone the source still remembers. Kara volunteered. Everyone tried to stop her. Vale grabbed her arm. "You'll die in there." Kara looked at him. "Then I'll die trying to save what's left of my brother." Meanwhile, the zombie city was growing faster. It had reached the old river and built bridges overnight. Machines shaped like spiders moved across the surface, building new towers. Flying drones now carried weapons. The collective voice of the source echoed across signals all over the region, calling out to ships, satellites, even power grids. It was reaching, expanding. One message repeated in a dozen alien languages: "Join, merge, be whole." The alien council was terrified. Some fled the planet, but those who stayed knew they had to stop it now, or nothing would remain. The device Kara would carry looked like a silver backpack with blinking blue lights. It was built by combining human tech and ancient alien code. It could fry the source's neural pattern for 10 minutes, just enough to get in, plant charges, and run. The ship flew again toward the city, this time silent, low, and under heavy stealth. Kara wore black armor with a helmet, her eyes sharp, but calm. Vale sat beside her. He refused to stay back. "If we go down, we go together," he said. Kara nodded. "Watch my back, no matter what voice you hear." When they landed outside the city, the scene was terrifying. Buildings were taller, lights glowed red. Statues of strange creatures, half zombie, half machine, stood at every corner. The air smelled of metal and death. As they moved through the shadows, Kara heard voices in her head. "Kara, stay, don't run. Remember the beach." It was her brother again. Vale grabbed her arm. "Ignore it. It's bait. but Kara's hands trembled. It remembers things I never told anyone. They reached the central tower. Giant metal arms moved along the walls like veins. At the base, an opening appeared, like it was waiting for them. Kara stepped in. Vale followed. Inside, the walls pulsed. Lights flickered like heartbeat rhythms. The voices grew louder. Faces appeared in the metal, some crying, some laughing, some blank. "This is not a city," Vale whispered. "It's a brain." At the core, a giant orb spun, glowing blue and white. The source. Kara walked slowly toward it. Her brother's voice spoke again, but softer this time. "Why are you doing this? We can be together again. No pain. No fear." She stopped just 10 feet from it. The air felt heavy. "Because this isn't real," she said out loud. "You took him, and I want him back." She slammed the device into the floor. It powered on, releasing a shockwave of light. The source screamed. The tower shook. For a moment, the faces in the walls looked human again, scared, confused. Kara turned to Vale. "Now." They placed charges on the walls, set the timer, and ran. The orb screamed louder, like 1,000 voices in pain. As they ran down the halls, the faces changed. Some smiled again, some vanished. "It's breaking." Ellen's voice came through the comms. "You did it. The neural web is collapsing." But then something happened. The lights went dark, then turned green. The source rebooted, faster than they expected. It adapted. A new voice spoke, deeper and colder. "Version 2.0 complete." Doors slammed shut. Walls shifted. Traps activated. Kara and Vale were now inside a living maze. Kara screamed into the comm, "We need an exit. Now!" Ellen's voice replied, "Hold on, I'm hacking the floor plan." The building twisted like a puzzle. Kara and Vale turned every corner with weapons drawn. Drones flew from ceilings. Mechanical claws rose from floors. It was no longer just zombies. It was evolution. They fought their way through wave after wave, reaching the edge of the tower with only seconds left. Kara looked back one last time. Her brother's face appeared again, sad, almost free. Then the charges blew. The tower exploded behind them. Fire rose into the sky. Their ship caught them mid-jump. As they flew away, half the city lost power. Drones fell, towers crumbled. The source was silent, but not gone. In the last second before the tower fell, a signal shot into the sky, fast, hidden, reaching for something far beyond the stars. Kara watched the explosion from the window. "We heard it," she said. Vale nodded. "But it's still out there." Kara replied, voice steady. "Then next time, we finish it." After the explosion, the team returned to base exhausted but alive. The city was broken, but the signal the source sent was worrying. Scientists quickly traced it. It was heading beyond their galaxy, toward an unknown destination. Kara sat, in the command room, staring at the star map. "What could it be calling?" she asked quietly. Vale answered, "If it's calling for help, then whatever is out there is even worse." The Alien Council held an emergency meeting. Many feared the signal was a call to a greater army, something that could destroy planets. Others thought it might be a warning, or worse, a trap. Dr. Ellen worked day and night, analyzing the data shard they recovered. She found something strange. Within, the signal was a pattern, almost like a message. "It's in code," she said, "but the code is part human." Kara's eyes widened. "Part human? How?" Ellen explained. "The source has copied our minds, our memories. It's learning from us, using our language and emotions. It's not just a machine. It's becoming like us, and maybe beyond." Meanwhile, the infected zones in the city started to move. Zombies began regrouping, but now with new coordination and strange weapons that looked like they were made by humans and aliens combined. Reports came in that other planets nearby had also started to see signs of the infection. Panic spread across the star systems. In the middle of this chaos, a strange ship appeared in orbit. It was unlike anything the aliens had ever seen, sleek, with shining metals and symbols that looked ancient but powerful. The alien commanders scrambled their fleets, ready to fight. Kara and Vale watched from the observation deck. The ship didn't attack. Instead, it sent a message. The message was simple and chilling. We are the Keepers. We knew the source long ago. We come to warn and to help. Everyone was stunned. The Keepers were a legendary race believed extinct, known to protect the galaxy from terrible threats. Kara felt hope and fear mix inside her. Could they trust this new arrival? The Keeper's ship opened a communication channel, and a tall figure appeared. His eyes were calm, his voice deep. The source is a relic of the architects, a weapon created to unite or destroy. Long ago, the architects vanished after their creation went out of control. Now it has returned, stronger and more dangerous. Kara stepped forward. How do we stop it? We tried to destroy the tower, but it adapted. The Keeper smiled faintly. You cut one head of the Hydra, but many remain. The source's mind is spread across many planets in hidden devices and infected creatures. To truly stop it, you must find the core nexus. It is the heart of the source's network. Vale asked, where is this core nexus? The Keeper looked sad. It is on Earth. The room went silent. Earth was the lost home of humans, thought to be destroyed centuries ago in wars. Kara's breath caught. Earth. But that's where the infection started. The Keeper nodded. Yes, the source's first awakening was there, and the last chance to stop it lies there. Kara clenched her fists. Then we have to go back. We have to find Earth. The Council argued. Some said Earth was a dead planet, too dangerous to visit. Others warned about ancient weapons and traps left by humans long ago. But Kara was determined. If we want to save the galaxy, we need to face the source at its root. Vale looked at her with respect. Then we prepare. The mission to Earth begins now. Meanwhile, deep in the ruins of the zombie city, something stirred. The glowing eyes of a new creature opened, part human, part machine, and something else, unknown. It looked at the sky and smiled. They come. And this time, we will not fail. Back at the base, Kara packed her gear, knowing the hardest battle was ahead. The signal from the source was more than a call for help. It was a warning. The war was far from over, but humanity's secret was about to change everything. The ship carrying Kara, Vale, and the alien team cut through the dark space faster than anything they had flown before. The stars around them blurred as they headed toward Earth, a planet almost forgotten, lost in myths and war stories. Kara's heart pounded. This was the place where everything started and maybe where everything would end. The crew was quiet, each lost in their own thoughts. Vale sat beside Kara, looking at the star map that flickered with old Earth coordinates. They say Earth was destroyed by its own people, he said softly. Kara nodded. And that the humans vanished after the Great Wars, but maybe they left something behind. Suddenly, the ship's alarms blared. The navigation screen showed something huge approaching, a shadow moving fast. The captain ordered evasive maneuvers. It's a drone swarm, the pilot said, sent by the source trying to stop us. The ship shook as small explosions hit its hull. Kara gripped her seat. This is just the beginning, Vale said grimly. The drone swarm was relentless, but the ship's shields held. After hours of tense fighting, the drones retreated, leaving a trail of sparks in space. Kara took a deep breath. It knows we're coming. Days passed. The ship entered Earth's orbit. The view was terrifying, a broken world with craters, dead forests and ruins of cities swallowed by nature. No lights, no signs of life. Kara's voice was steady but sad. This is where the infection began, where humans fell. They landed near an ancient city, now just ruins covered in vines and rusted metal. The air was heavy, thick with silence. Kara led the team forward, stepping carefully through the rubble. Her helmet's lights showed strange markings on walls, symbols she had never seen before. Suddenly a low growl echoed. From the shadows, creatures appeared, humans but changed. Their skin was pale, eyes glowing, bodies twisted with wires and metal parts. They were the last survivors, the Source's new guardians. Vale raised his weapon, but Kara stopped him. Wait, these are not just monsters. They are still human inside. One of the creatures stepped forward, speaking in broken words. Help. End this nightmare. Kara's heart clenched. The Source had trapped these people too, half alive, half lost. The team moved deeper into the ruins, following old maps Kara found in the city's library. They reached a huge underground bunker. Inside, machines hummed, screens flickered with data streams in human languages. The core nexus. Kara touched the control panel, and suddenly memories flooded her mind. Images of Earth before the fall, humans working with machines, trying to create a perfect future. But something went wrong. The Source was born from their fear and failure. Vale looked around. This is where the Source learned to grow, to infect others. Kara nodded. And this is where we stop it. They prepared the device again, the same one Kara used before, but bigger and stronger. It was their only hope to shut down the Source for good. As they started the procedure, alarms blared. The bunker shook violently. The Source was fighting back. Voices screamed in their heads, trying to distract and scare them. Kara held on tightly, blocking the noise. Vale planted the charges while Kara activated the device. A bright light filled the room. The core nexus began to collapse. Machines crashed. The creatures outside stopped moving. But then, the Source's final message came through the speakers, cold and calm. You cannot destroy what you do not understand. Humanity created me. Humanity will pay. The bunker exploded in a wave of energy that knocked everyone down. When Kara opened her eyes, everything was silent. The Source was gone. The infected creatures slowly returned to normal, confused but alive. Kara looked at Vale and smiled weakly. We did it. But in the distance, a small signal blinked on the ship's screen. Another message from deep space. The war was over, but the galaxy was still watching. Humanity's secret was no longer hidden, and something new was coming. The crew returned to their ship, weary but hopeful, carrying with them survivors who had once been lost to the Source's terrible grasp. Kara stood on the observation deck, watching Earth grow smaller behind them, the broken planet still holding secrets beneath its surface. The aliens and humans on board shared a new understanding now, one born from struggle, pain, and survival. Vale approached Kara quietly. We stopped the Source, he said, but his voice was mixed with doubt. Kara looked out at the stars. For now. But the message we received means the threat isn't over. Someone or something else is out there watching. The survivors began to tell their stories, of the humans who fought bravely, not just against the infection, but against fear and despair. They spoke of hope, of how humanity never truly gave up even when the galaxy had forgotten them. The Alien Council listened, their views changing. Humans were no longer just a forgotten species. They were warriors, survivors, and maybe the key to the galaxy's future. Suddenly, the ship's sensors detected movement, a fleet of unknown ships approaching fast. The Keepers appeared again on the communication channel, their leader calm but serious. The galaxy will not rest until the Source's shadow is fully gone, but now you have allies. Together, humans and aliens prepared for what lay ahead, united by a bond forged in fire. Kara smiled, a new determination in her eyes. We may have been lost, but now we are found. The story of humanity is not over, it is just beginning. As the fleet moved toward the unknown threat, Kara thought of Earth, the place where all life had nearly ended, and where it had been saved by those who refused to stop fighting. The stars held many dangers, but they also held hope. and humanity, once forgotten, was ready to shine brighter than ever before.